Chelsea Bieker is from California's Central Valley. She is the recipient of a Rona Jaff Writers Foundation Award, and her fiction and essays have been published in Granta, McSweeney's, Catapult Magazine, Electric Literature, and Joyland, among others. So, thank you so much for being here, Chelsea, and take it away.
Thank you so much, Mark. I'm so happy to be here with all of you today on this beautiful day. It's such an honor to be a finalist for this award among writers that I have admired for a really long time. Jen was just reminding us that the first people she met in Oregon when she first moved here were Vanessa and I, and that's my same experience. So, and that was a long time ago. That was almost 11 or 12. Yeah, I think 11 years ago. So to be here together now feels really special, and just knowing their work and Lydia's work and for so long is just, I'm excited to hear them read and feeling just a lot of goodness inside about all of that. So I'm happy to be here, and I'm gonna read something I haven't read before, but I'll try it out. So my novel is called Godshot. And I think what you need to know, since I will be reading sort of from the middle of the book, is that the book really follows the journey of a teenage girl, sort of in this cult-run, droughted, small, tiny, kind of devastated rural farming town in California. And she is pregnant. These are the details you must know. She's pregnant. Pretty far along, and she's going to a midwife for the first time, for sort of her first medical check, if you will, because previous to this she's had no medical attention or any education around birth or anything. So this is sort of that moment, and hopefully it'll make sense. I sat in the passenger seat as Florin parked us in front of an abandoned lone blue barn I passed a million times. It used to belong to the Sander family, dairy people, before they left town after the first bad drought, saying they didn't like Vern and his ways. I'd never thought of them again other than to pray for their deliverance, and certainly never realized the barn was now inhabited for a very different cause. Farm of Spiritual Birthing and Uterus Celebration was written on a little wooden sign over the door. Well, now this is happening, Florin said. Appears to be, I said. She opened the door for me. I tried to imagine she was my partner, the father of the baby, perhaps. This was just a normal appointment. Ask your doctor about cord clamping. Ask your doctor about vernix practices. What happens to the placenta? Bring a cooler for transportation if you wish to eat it. My magazines had whole checklists you could cut out and bring with you, but I had forgotten them all. Inside were Hazel's doulas and several other women I had never seen, lit up from somewhere unearthly, their cheeks sun-flushed. They wore t-shirts that said things like "The Clitoral Truth" and "Feminist Killjoy" tucked into wide-leg canvas pants, and they smiled with their heads cocked to the side, lips pressed in feminine knowledge. Hazel hugged me and led us to the back room. She patted my belly. That baby in there wants to be a person in the world, I can tell. In the room, there was a poster advertising womb continuum class and little twiggy flowers in mason jars on every windowsill, a double bed with a pure white duvet. Everything smelled of peppermint and baked bread. She poured cucumber water from a pitcher into a glass, and I downed it in a loud, shameless gulp. The water was crisp and cold. The more I drank, the more I wanted. I thought of how my mother used to drink alcohol as if it were water. No hesitation, no savoring, just pure need. More, I said, and she gave me more. She took a cloth and wiped dirt from my face. Pregnant women need a ton of water, she said. I hope you've been watering that little baby in there. I pictured myself pouring soda on a seed in the ground and expecting a garden. Useless. Perhaps the strange popping I'd been feeling was just the baby signaling for water, begging for it, and there was not enough. You can wash here too before you leave if you want. Only if you want, no judgment. There's this weird feeling in my stomach, I said quietly. I mean, it could just be gas. It probably is, but what if it's not? What if I'm doing this all wrong? Pop, 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 she said. She tapped on the drum of me, enthusiasm unthwarted. Like that? I nodded. That's your babe kicking. It's saying, here I am, Mom. Pay attention to me. It's moving in there, I said. This possibility felt obvious to me suddenly. Of course it was moving. Hadn't the Mama magazines mentioned this would happen? Yet I had felt certain these very normal things wouldn't happen for me. I had dreaded deep down that this would never move, that I would not be a good enough host. But here it was moving despite everything. Goosebumps sprang up on my arms and legs. I wasn't in control of anything about the person inside of me, a relief and a terror. Babies are known to masturbate in the womb, if you can believe it. They lick the wall of the womb, they suck their thumbs. It's incredible. Oh, you poor thing. Did you think something was wrong? Just kicks. Poor thing. I smiled at her, but I hated those words. I wanted her to see me as a glowing mama in a new bodycon dress, showing off my bumps, smiling dear husband on my arm. Nursery almost complete. I wanted to put my feet up in my new rocking chair that I would nurse in and think of baby names, think of nothing but the swell of my feet. But instead, poor thing. Is she going to be too small to push this thing out? Florin asked, looking at my crotch. A woman from Fresno had her babe in here a few days ago, a doula cut in. Her hair was pinned to the side of her head in little bushes over her ears. 11 pounds vaginally. She looked dreamily at the ceiling, towards some unknown doula heaven of elastic vaginas, still in awe. We made her placenta pills. It was a gorgeous placenta. That's a big-ass baby, Florin said. They're all coming in from the city now that unmedicated birth is in style again, Hazel said. She did amazing. Her mantra was, I'm going to get enormous. She kept saying that while pushing. I'm getting enormous. Never seen a dilation like that. He came right out. What if I can't do it? Nope, Hazel said, don't entertain that thought. Don't give it an ounce of power. Your thoughts create reality. If my thoughts created reality, I wouldn't be in this situation now, I thought. I lay down on the bed and she took my blood pressure. Good, she said. Then she pulled out a wand-looking thing. Time to hear the heartbeat. The heartbeat. This was another way I could fail. The baby could have a heartbeat, but not the right kind. Perhaps it could have no heartbeat. I had just felt the popping minutes ago, but now I didn't. So maybe in the last 30 seconds, it had decided to stop. I don't want to, I said. Come on, Florin said. This is the fun part. I sat up, my own heart skipping too fast. I wanted out of there. That's okay, Lacey May, Hazel said, putting her hand on my shoulder. We should probably put together a birth plan for you. I want you to think about your ideal birth. Just meditate on it. I'll do whatever you want me to do. I got off the bed, anything to leave. Take a walk, listen to your body, to your baby. Listen to the baby? Of course, she said. Your baby has all sorts of things she wants you to know. I mean, I said, I just didn't know I was supposed to. It annoyed me a little bit to be told to listen to something that was not going to speak outright, just like I was always told to listen to God, to decode divide messaging from dust-filled air. We walked back to the car. Florin started the engine and scanned the radio. We sat for a minute. My mom loves that shit, she said. All the oils and body positivity. I don't know. I'd want a real doctor, but that's me. I thought of Hazel at the Yoni Magic meeting, how she had looked at all of us. She believed in us fully. I had never met someone like her, and it seemed I could find the ends of my pain if she was there to hold my hand. I like it, I said. You can tell she knows things. I hope so, Florin said. Wait. I opened the door again, got out of the car. My body took me back into the farmhouse, back into the room where Hazel was making notes on a chart. She looked up. Forget something? I lay across the bed and pulled up my dress. She turned the Doppler on. It sounded like radio static. She moved the wand around my small dome, smeared with cold jelly. I craned my neck to watch, and I felt I was out of my body looking at someone else. The faintest brown lines spread from my navel. My skin looked tight and pulled. My thighs were larger, meatier than ever before. It seemed to me I was turning into a series of lumps. I didn't understand how I was only going to get much, much larger from here. It seemed impossible. I liked it though. I looked nothing like the girl that had lain on the shed floor. It takes time to find the heart sometimes, she said. She looked up at the ceiling and let her hands guide her. Her eyebrows twitched and the softness of her tunic rubbed my skin. She worked a minute longer. The walls were closing in. Here it was, my punishment. I braced. I saw my pink, unformed baby floating in the boiling, toxic waters of me, too hot to hold. But then a quick two-step, a sharp gallop. Hazel smiled like she'd expected this sound. To her, this very routine sound. Strong. It did sound strong. It sounded like rain. I'll stop there. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was amazing. A big silent hand for Chelsea Bieker. Yay!